What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is the third episode in the series, and we started today's episode off by seeing that our Georgian left-back has been sold to the Scottish side Hearts for £160,000, and also a bid came in for another foreign left-back we have here called Keita. Tours FC offered us 230 grand for his services, which is of course £70,000 less than his valuation, but instead of counter-offering, we just said you can take him. Obviously with Paris FC we don't have much money, and although it would make more sense to try and raise as much as possible, I don't believe the extra 70 grand would do much for us, to be honest, and the last thing I want to see is that club pull out a negotiation. So we just say you can take him for 230 grand. That is less than his valuation, but that's okay with me, and hopefully the money we'll get for him will help us buy one or two more French players. Still, we put in a new bid for Sissoko, the Monaco right back, and also Moussa Dembele as well, but that's not the Belgian central midfielder that used to play for Fulham and does now play for Spurs. It's the current Fulham player that is French and a striker. 66 overall, 19 years old. His contract is up at the end of the year, but as he's under the age of 23, we can't sign on a pre-contract in January. Regardless, Fulham still may be less reluctant to let him go on the cheap, so we put in a bid and we'll wait and see what Fulham say. He'd be a really good strike partner for Thierry Ambrose, so we just have to wait and see what Fulham say. We also put in inquiries for Clement Lenglet, Lucas Hernandez, and also Boscagli as well, so 3 centre-backs right there. As you can see, though, the clubs are pretty much coming to us and saying we're not going to let those players go, which isn't a real surprise. They're young French talents who we'd love here at Paris FC, but obviously the clubs would like them at their clubs as well. We do put in a bid for Boscagli though, which was really interesting because Nice came back to us regarding this centre-back and said that he'd recently joined the club, but I was almost certain we could still put in a bid for him and possibly get hold of him, and as you can see, we were able to offer him a bid and wait and see whether Nice would accept it or not. So yeah, I don't know why they came back to us and said they wouldn't be interested in doing any negotiation with us, because obviously they were interested in doing negotiation with us, because once we put in a bid they still entertained the possibility of him getting sold, but still. Another player got sold there, that's Keita out of the club as well, so another foreign player leaves Paris FC, and that's great to see. Obviously, before the transfer window does shut, I do want to try and bring in 1 or possibly 2 more signings, but the most important thing is just to try and sell on all the foreign players that are still left here. If we can do that, whether we sign any more players or not, I'll still call it a successful window. Know we've got 4 players in already, and of course getting rid of the foreign players right from the beginning in the first transfer window would be a fantastic step of many to come with Paris FC. Still, we take on Valenciennes for the first game of today's episode here, and of course what a fantastic start to this game as well. Just 14 minutes in, we open the scoring here, and guess who gets the goal? It's Thierry Ambrose. He scored 2 in his debut in the first game of the season against Tours FC, and he opens the scoring here against Valenciennes as well, getting on the end of this cross, heading it past the goalkeeper, and our skipper gets his 3rd goal already to make it 1-0 to Paris FC. Another new signing then made a fantastic player in the 21st minute, and new centre-back heads this free kick off the line and keeps us in front by a 1-0. Brilliant piece of defending there, and in the 26th minute here, Thierry Ambrose must have thought he scored his 2nd goal of the game. He celebrates, he does make it 2-0, or so he thinks, but this goal actually gets credited as an own goal to a Valenciennes player. But either way, what a fantastic start for this game. Ambrose scoring, our defender clearing one off the line as well, and Ambrose getting the 2nd goal of the game. Not credited to him, but did of course cause it, as this deflected effort does go down as an own goal. But I think it should have gone to Ambrose really, as I think the shot was on target and therefore it was going in anyway. But regardless, it does go down as an own goal, but we don't care. Valenciennes 0, Paris FC 2. Of course, we did draw the last game, a goalless draw against Clermont Foot at home, so of course that was our first game which we'd slipped up in and failed to get the 3 points. So coming to this game, we were desperate to bounce back to winning ways, but the home side were actually playing pretty well in this game. But in the last episode I did discuss the mentality of opposition clubs and how easy it's going to be for us to try and break them down this year. Sometimes when a club is attacking you and the team is attacking you and putting you under pressure, that actually gives you more chances to get forward and try and open them up and win the game, which does sound a bit bizarre, I know, but it's true, because in the last game against Clermont Foot, they came into the game, set their stall out, and just let us attack at them. We couldn't break them down. But in this game, Valenciennes were coming at us with everything they had, and because of that, they were opening themselves up at the back, leaving themselves exposed, and because of that, we got ourselves 2 goals. They also got a man set off late in the game as well, and of course we did win the game by 2-0. So delighted with the win. Ambrose getting the first goal of the game, causing the second goal, but not getting credit with it, sadly. But either way, a 2-0 win for us. Our goalkeeper played pretty well again, and that's now 4 clean sheets in 4 games as well. What a fantastic start for me, as usually I'm not that great of a defender, but this year a little bit better in this year's FIFA. But either way, 4 clean sheets already. That's also 10 points from our opening 4 games. A really, really impressive start for us, and I'm very, very happy with that. Still following the game, Fulham came back to us regarding Dembele and said the bid wasn't good enough. That's not a real surprise. He's a really decent striker, and even though his contract is up at the end of the year, players just don't get released into the free agents pool in FIFA. You know, I don't see it happen. So it's really, really frustrating. But because of that, Fulham know that they won't be losing them on a pre-contract in January. And of course, whenever a player's contract runs down in FIFA with an AI club, it just gets renewed for another season or 2 or 3. It's really, really frustrating. I wish that EA would sort it out for next year, where clubs would actually release players come the end of their contracts, because it just never happens in FIFA. But we'll have to wait and see. Still following out more rejects for more bids for Boscagli of Nice and of course Dembele of Fulham as well. I would like to get hold of these guys. We have over £1 million to work with at Paris FC. Believe it or not, we're not exactly rich, but that's a pretty decent budget considering what we started with. But either way, I don't know if we'll get hold of either of those players or not. It seems like the clubs want £1 million plus for them, and that's just for the one player, and I'm not sure I want to pay that for those players, because yes, of course, they would be good investments for the future, but to be honest, with us, there's more things we could do with that money as opposed to just, splashing the cash on just one player for £1 million. I'd rather save the money, keep it in our kitty, and maybe something will come up in January. Still, we're taking Auxerre for the second and final game of today's episode here, as Auxerre come to take us on here at home. Of course, our last home game was a goalless draw against Clermont-Foot, so coming to this game, we were desperate to make amends and make it 2 wins from 2. First chance fell to us here after just a complete passage of, I don't know what was going on here. Terrible play, mistakes, let's just call it French League 2 football. This was really, really poor. A cross comes in, Ambrose misses the header, the goalkeeper tries to punch it away, gets nowhere near it. At the far post there was a tap in for our player, he misses the ball, then the Auxerre player pushes him to the floor for no reason. Goodness knows what was happening. All the referee knew was that he had to give us a penalty. He did that, we took the penalty, Thierry Ambrose scored the penalty, the first of the series, and makes it Paris FC 1, Auxerre 0. So a penalty given to us there after a few really, really bizarre incidents, but Ambrose converts the penalty, his first of the series. He tucks it away nicely into the top corner, and it's Paris FC 1, Auxerre 0. Already his 4th goal in 5 games. What a red hot start for Thierry Ambrose. Of course, 2 coming in the same game. He has been fantastic. He may be good in front of goal though, but one thing he's not good at doing is setting up counter attacks. I got this horribly wrong in the 74th minute. Auxerre equalised here to make it Paris FC 1, Auxerre 1, and scored the first goal against us in the series, but this was really bad from me. I tried to set up a counter-attack here from the corner. Ambrose tried to flick it on towards the area where the halfway line is there to see the 2 men running forward. Completely miskicked the ball, just went up in the air. Auxerre won it back, and eventually it was turned in by the number 10 to make it 1-1. So that was a really bad mistake by me there, and sadly it does cost us 2 points as well, because not much really happened in this game other than those 2 goals, to be honest. It was a really, really poor game. Neither side looked capable of putting the ball in the back of the net other than the 2 goals that were scored, of course. One scored by either side. It was a really, really poor game. It does finish as a 1-1 draw, and that is now 2 draws in 3 games. But either way, from 5 games to start the season off with, we've got 11 points, 3 wins and 2 draws, still undefeated, only 1 goal conceded, 4 goals already scored for our new captain Ambrose. We may be disappointed to drop points in that game, but it's still not a bad result. I'll still take it, and at least we know we are still undefeated as we go into transfer deadline day. And as you can see, Nice and Fulham once again rejected bids for Boscagli and Dembele, so I just decided to forget about those 2 players. Not going to be putting in the bids for them anymore. I'll leave them as they are and possibly come back in January. But how about this guy for a signing here? Enzo Fernandez of Real Madrid coming in on loan. Now, you may not be too familiar with the name, it may not ring too many bells, but I'm sure you'll know who his dad is. Ever heard of a player called Zinedine Zidane? Yes, the French football legend and the football legend, really. Zinedine Zidane is the father of Enzo Fernandez, who plays for Real Madrid. We put in a loan bid for him and a future fee of £400,000, and Real Madrid come back to us and say that is a totally fine deal. So Enzo Fernandez, Zidane's son, is going to join Paris FC on a 1-year loan with the possibility of him becoming a permanent player for £400,000. How about that for an interesting signing? Zidane's son coming in. Don't know if there are any Italian players called Marco in this French second division, but if they are, I'm sure they'll be shaking in their boots a little bit knowing he's here. But still, Fernandez comes in. Really happy with that. Left midfield, CAM listed in positions, 4-star weak foot, 3-star skill, 62 overall, so good enough to go straight into the first team already. Don't know what his potential will be, but either way, it's just good to know we've got Zidane's son here, isn't it? Just for a trivial reason, really. But Zidane's son comes in on deadline day, gives us some more squad depth, gives us some more cover as well. Of course, we were able to sell those foreign players too, so only 2 foreign players that are left here at Paris FC. Those are the loan players, Glombard and Mills, who will either get terminated or they'll just sit here basically and do nothing for us. But either way, Zidane's son comes in on deadline day. Pretty interesting stuff, and I guess better than nothing really, just to make one signing there. And of course, we've got some money left over as well, which we'll either keep until January or do something interesting with in the near future. We'll have to wait and see. Still, 20 episodes off, we have a squad report, a look at how the squad is going to be set up for the remainder of the season, and also look at the league table as well after 5 games. As you can see, we are currently sitting in second place. A pretty impressive start for our new side, Paris FC. 5 games in, 3 wins, 2 draws, 11 points, only 1 goal conceded. A lot more football to play, of course, but a bright start. The future looks bright for Paris FC, and I'm really excited for the remainder of this challenge and this season as well. That does end the episode, guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode of Club and Country, then please do leave likes. It's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country very soon.